So in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can authenticate the domain for the sender on Brevo and have your email sending properly. That's with a DKIM signature and a DMARC policy. Otherwise, once you do connect up to Brevo, you get that annoying your website /Brevo and loads of numbers on the email, which can often look like spam. We're going to be doing this on SeekaHost.App, and to do this you need access to your website and your domain. Now the first step on your website is to connect your SMTP, and that's to Brevo. We're not going to be going through that in this tutorial. This is going to be to authenticate the domain. You want to make sure the from domain is the domain that you're going to be authenticating from, and that you have your mailer selected as Brevo. Then you go through the Brevo steps to get your API key. This will now make your email send, however it won't look professional and it might also not hit some emails. For example, Outlook emails don't like to receive any of these emails unless they have the DKIM signature and the DMARC. If these are not showing, they are unlikely to be received. So log into Brevo, we're going to go to the top right where your account name is, and then we're going to go to senders, domains and dedicated IPs. If you're using a different hosting, you're going to probably want to go to your DNS section. Here on SeekaHost it's super easy and you can actually do it straight from your WordPress site. We're going to go to WordPress sites, find the action button for the site that we're going to be doing it for, and then you can manage all of your records from Zone Records. Now if you are using another host and you're not with SeekaHost, go to your domain, find the domain that you want to choose, and then you can go to your DNS management and fill it all out here. However, as we're using SeekaHost.App, we're going to do it straight from the site, which is much easier to do. Again, that's the action button next to your site, Zone Records, and this is going to be where we want to input the information. Now let's head back to Brevo. From Brevo, we're going to go to Domains. As you can see, it's not authenticated yet, so let's go ahead to Authenticate. I'm going to select the top one, which is Authenticate the domain myself. Let's go to Continue. Here it's going to give us the values that we need to input into our section on the Zone Records. Let's start with the Brevo code first. It's asking for a type to be TXT, the name to be an @ and this is the value. So I'm going to copy the value. So let's create a record. We want it to be a TXT, so let's add a new TXT record. Right here we can add the @ sign. And if for any reason this doesn't work, you can just put your domain, so ezippy.com. Under the value, I'm just going to paste the value that we copied. I'm just going to put the TTL value as 60. Now let's go back again. We have the DKIM1 record. It's going to be a CNAME record. This is the name and the value. First I'm going to copy the name. Let's come over to the Zone Records and add a CNAME record. Let's click CNAME and add new. In the host section, I'm going to paste the first line, then I'm going to copy the value and paste that into the second section. Now there's an important thing here, with the DKIM values, they don't often tell us to finish it with a full stop. However, you do need to, so after I paste that, I'm going to finish it with a full stop. This might not be the same for all hostings, but with us you want to add that full stop at the end of the line for it to work. I'm then going to change this value to 60 again. So that's our first one inputted. We're going to want to add the second one, so I'm just going to come down to DKIM2 and I'm going to copy the name. I'm going to create a second CNAME, and under host or the name I'm going to paste the first line. That's my key number 2, and then I'm going to come over and copy the value. I'm going to put the value in the value section, and again because it's this particular section with a DKIM we're going to put a full stop at the end and then add 60. Now we finally have one more, which is the DMARC record. That's a TXT record, so I'm going to copy the name, I'm going to start a TXT record and then add that in. If I come to the bottom of my list, I can add the host as DMARC with an underline before it, and I'm going to copy the value, and I'm going to paste the value in right here, and changing this to 60 again. Now this should work. Every now and again it might throw up a little hiccup, but we can find that out by first of all updating the records. And we want to see a green check at the top. If you don't get a green check, then you might have done something a bit wrong. However, as long as you filled it in like we have on here, you should get Zone Record updated successfully. Now we want to go to the authentication page. We've input all of this and we want to check it and authenticate it. This is either going to go smoothly the first time or it might ask you something to change. Let's go ahead and check it out. Perfect, everything was done perfectly and we are now authenticated to send with that domain. As mentioned before, sometimes if the @ doesn't work on the TXT record, you can put your website name instead. In my case it would be ezippy.com. However, you should have all smooth sailings, just like I did if you followed along with this guide. And now you're authenticated, your email will land on Google, Hotmail or any other email address. Thanks for watching, and don't forget this was all done on SeekaHost.App. And if you're looking for an easy way to host your WordPress or PBN site, you get a 7-day free trial, so you can come and check out the dashboard yourself, link up your site or even check for domains.